Today I'm going to be talking about class enrollment in ClassJuggler. I will show you how to enroll students using different tuition rates and also how to manage enrollment by adjusting enrollment rates, dropping a class, and swapping students to another class. Enrolling a student in a class is easy in ClassJuggler. You can enroll a student from either a student record via the student main menu or from a selected class via the class's main menu. While the screen titles are different, the enrollment windows are identical. For this demo, I will enroll students from the class's menu. Let's take a look at my classes from the class's main menu. I'm going to select my Gymnastics 1 summer class that meets on Wednesdays. When I select this class, I'm brought to the class maintenance page. I can see that this class has 2 total pricing tuition rates set up in the class tuition section. Since this is a 2-month session, it is billed at a total rate or the total price of the class. Next, I'll click on the Enroll Students from my purple sidebar menu. I'm going to choose Bella Hindi to enroll in this summer class. Bella is currently registered, so I don't see the registration option for her in the action column. When I click on the Enroll in Class pop-up window opens. Before we dive into enrolling the student, let's first talk about this Enroll window and all of the information we're viewing. This first section in the window is the information about the student we selected. This second section shows detailed class information so you can see a condensed view of the class you're enrolling the student in. The third section is where we set the actual tuition rate in the blue rate bar and generate the tuition charge for the class enrollment in the pink tuition charge bar. You'll also find all of your additional options and overrides in this section. And then at the very bottom of this screen is a section for enrollment notes and a section that shows enrollment statistics for the student and for other students in the same family to help with determining when to select discounted tuition for multiple students or classes. To enroll Bella in this class, I first need to select the appropriate tuition option in the blue tuition rate bar. The tuition rate bar shows the enrollment date and time, the tuition options, and the selected tuition rate. The default tuition is always selected first when enrolling a student. For this example, I'm going to keep the default amount for Bella at $150 total. Notice how this amount also is shown in the class tuition field. If I wanted to, I could also manually change the total tuition to any amount I wanted. For example, if this were the child of one of my staff members. For total tuition classes, the amount entered into the blue tuition rate bar is the same amount carried down into the pink tuition charge bar. The pink tuition charge bar shows the charge type, which is a tuition fee, the date and time, the month of class to charge, in this case the entire class, the amount being posted, any applicable taxes, and finally the total tuition amount that will be posted to the customer's account. The area below the blue and pink bars has other options you may use to override conflicts, enrollment options, and email options. So I'm going to click this Enroll button to complete Bella's enrollment in this class. For this class, I also see that I am shown an additional enrollment window with optional class fees that I set up for this class. Here we can choose one or more optional fees, if appropriate, that the customer would like with their enrollment. In this example, the customer can optionally add a t-shirt for this class. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a small t-shirt and then click Save. Now let's go take a look at the transactions we just created during this enrollment. I'm going to go to my customers list and I'm going to search for the last name Hindi, which is right here. I'm going to share a little tip with you about the List Customer screen. There's a shortcut to a customer's transaction screen. If you hold your Shift key down on your keyboard and then click the customer's name, you're taken directly to the customer transaction list. And when you look at the transactions that were created today, on today's date, we have 2 of them. You can see the full class tuition for Bella for the Gym 1 summer class and the optional t-shirt. So the $150 and the $20. You will notice that the 2 charges that we just created have an asterisk in the description box. The asterisk is a mark that lets you know that this charge was created during enrollment. You can learn more about these special indicators in the online help manual. All right, let's go and do another enrollment. I'm going to enroll a student into a class that is already active and in progress. So I need to go back to my class list, and I'm going to choose the Totally Tots class. And this class is a year-round class that has no end date. I'm going to go to my Enroll Students from the sidebar menu. And I want to enroll a sibling pair into this class. I'm going to enroll Peyton and Madison Baker. I'll first choose Peyton, and I'm going to go over to this Action column and click on Peyton and click on the Enroll button. And this brings me to the Enrolling class window. You can see that there is a red note letting me know that Peyton is an inactive or prospect student, and enrolling her will change her status and the customer status to active. I also get an alert that this class is active and in progress, which reminds me that I can prorate the tuition fees if I wish. I see that this class is set up for per class pricing in the blue tuition rate bar. The default price is $15 per class for each class occurring in each month. If the class has already occurred at least once in the current month, I'll also see a second row in our blue tuition rate bar. Since there are 4 Tuesdays in May, the normal cost of this class would be $60 for May. But since Peyton is starting in the class today, there is only 1 Tuesday left in this month. So her prorated amount for May will be only $15 for the 1 remaining class. So I'm going to select this prorate tuition, yes, and that's going to prorate her tuition to the 1 remaining class. And now in the pink tuition charge bar, my amount has changed to $15. I'm going to go down to this Enroll action button and click on that, and that's going to complete the enrollment. Next, I'm going to go to Madison's name and click on Enroll, and when the Enroll in Class window opens, since she is a sibling, I usually look down at the bottom right of my screen for additional enrollment information for the family. This can let you know if the student's enrolled in other classes or if a sibling isn't enrolled in any classes. Here I can see that Madison has siblings enrolled in additional classes, which reminds me to give Madison the sibling discount rate for this class. So I'm going to go up and change our class tuition option to the second child discount of $10 per class. This changes the blue tuition rate bar and the calculated total in the pink tuition charge bar. I could also override this amount manually and change it to any rate, for example, for a scholarship. I'll also choose the yes to prorate this class, just as I did before. And then I'm going to click the Enroll button to complete this enrollment. I want to view the transactions that we just created, so I'm going to go back to my customer list and look for Baker, and want to remember my shortcut to the customer's transactions by holding down my Shift key and then clicking on the customer. I can see the new charges to the Baker family, and because there is a little green dog ear over this description, I can hover over to see more information about this charge. This is a great feature if you forgot why you charged a lesser amount for enrollment or to see how prorated fees were calculated. So it's showing me it's per class tuition. The original rate was $10, and we prorated 3 classes. All right, I want to go back to my Totally Tots class. So I'm going to go to my class list and click on that class. And now I want to go to the View Manage Enrollment from the purple sidebar menu. All right, here is our Totally Tots class, and we can see all the students that are now enrolled in that class. I have 7 students enrolled. Let's take a look at one of our students. I'm going to look at Olivia Mays. Olivia is a relatively new student who is from a lower income family, and we want to offer a special discount to her. So when I click on the Edit Drop Action button, the Update or Drop Class window opens, allowing me to modify her enrollment. I'm going to change her monthly rate from $35 per month to $15 per month. So I change that, and then I just click the Update button. This will update her class tuition rate so that all future post-tuition billing cycles will charge the lower rate. And we can see that we have changed that $35 to $15 in the tuition column. One important thing to note is that changing a student's tuition rate has no effect on existing tuition charges already posted to that student's account. If you need to make changes to any prior tuition charges, you will need to manually post a credit for any adjustments to the customer's balance. Next, let's talk about swapping a student to another class. ClassJuggler has a simple way to move a student from one class to another. This is usually for moving a student to the same class but for another time. Let's go back to our classes menu, or our classes list. I want to choose the Wednesday Gymnastics 1 Summer. And I'm going to swap one of our students from the Wednesday class to the Tuesday class. And this is done in a few easy steps. First, we select the class, which I just have done. Then we go to our purple sidebar menu and click on View Manage Enrollment. All right, I'm going to pick Jenny Gray for this, and I'm going to click on her Edit Drop Action. Next, I'll click on the Swap Class from this bottom choice of action buttons. And the first thing I want to do is put in a reason why I'm moving Jenny. So my swap reason is all right, so I have my reason in, and then I need to select the class I want to move her into. So I'm going to click on the Select Class action button, and I'm going to put her into that Tuesday class of the same name. Okay, and finally, the last thing I need to do is to choose to copy her original billing history from the original class. And I also want to use her original enroll date of 5/14/2019. And then I just click on Swap Class. All right, it's going to ask me, are you sure you wish to move this student from the old class to the selected new class? And I'm going to say OK. So this moves Jenny from one class to another seamlessly, and even emails the instructors of both classes to let them know about the change. And we can look back into this list and see that Jenny has been swapped out and is no longer part of the Wednesday class. Now let's look at how to drop a student from a class. I'm going to go back to my classes list from my main menu. And again, I'm going to use my Totally Tots class. And I'm going to go to my View Manage Enrollment. All right, Bella has been in this class for a little over 1 year and has decided she wants to try other classes, and so is dropping this class. To drop Bella from this class, I click on the Edit Drop Action. This time when the Update or Drop Class window opens, I will not be adjusting tuition or swapping her to another class. I'll simply be dropping this student from the class. So I'm going to click on the Drop Action button at the bottom of the screen. First option we need to choose from is the History option. Since Bella has been in this class for over a year, I want to drop this class with History, which is the default. So I'm going to leave it at drop class with history. The only time you would typically drop a class with no history is if you had accidentally enrolled a student in a class and wanted no history of them ever being enrolled. I'm going to then put in a drop reason. Bella wants to take other classes. Optionally, I could use this future drop date option if Bella wanted to drop in a few weeks or even later by entering the date she wanted to drop the class. This is a great feature since you don't have to remember to drop the student in the future. ClassJuggler will handle all the work for you. However, Bella wants to go ahead and drop today. I can also use the email instructor option to let the instructors know that a student is dropping her class. So I'm going to go ahead and drop Bella from the class by clicking the drop action button and confirming with OK. Now when we look at the View Manage Enrollment list, we will still see Bella's name on the list, but now her status is dropped. And because there is a little green dog ear in the corner of the cell, I can hover over this and see the reason why Bella dropped. Bella wants to take other classes. All right, let's drop one more student out of the same class. Cadence Green was enrolled in this class mistakenly by an administrator. I'm going to click on the Edit Drop Action button. Again, we're brought to our Update or Drop Class window. This time I'm going to drop the class with no history. Well, I first have to click Drop. Then I'm going to choose the history option of Drop with no history. All right, then I just click on the Drop Action button, confirm with an OK. All right, now when we look back at this window, the View Manage Enrollment window, we no longer see Cadence in this class at all, even with the dropped. And that's because we dropped with no history, so there's not going to be any record of her being dropped. Well, I hope you've learned something new about ClassJuggler's powerful enrollment features. We added a few student enrollments using different pricing rates and sibling discounts. We looked at how to prorate enrollment charges and how enrollments post tuition charges to a parent's transactions. We also went over how to create adjustments to tuition rates and how to drop a student from a class and swap a student to another class time.